Snow. What I've got here is a very typical horse in for a kind of a spring tune-up to get ready to go ride. And this particular horse had some kind of a fungus or something in his ears at one time, and it's kind of like horses that maybe have had ticks in their ear or something. They get real protective of their ears and they don't want you to touch them. And they can be pretty dangerous about that because they'll just throw their head around like a giraffe or something, and if you're not careful, they'll hit you with it. So that's one thing that this horse is in for. He couldn't put a bridle over his ears because he was bothered about touching the ears. So that's one thing that was in for. The other thing was about standing still to get on at a mounting block. So I'm
going to pause you here for a minute, Dennis. So this is a couple situations that this horse is here for, but horses come in here for absolutely everything. So do you do something different with each and every one of them, or how do you start out to decide what you're going to do for what?
The answer is yes.
My question is, in case they didn't hear me.
The question was, is I get horses come in for all different things, from the very beginning, just starting, to all sorts of problems. Do I treat them any differently because of what their problem is? The answer to that is twofold. I'm going to say no to start with. I don't treat them any differently. Now here's where it looks like it's different. And this is why I like doing these videos live with a horse, because the horse allows me to demonstrate how the mental picture that I always talk about unfolds based on what I'm seeing relative to what I want that horse to do. Tells me when to do what. So therefore it looks like I'm doing something different sometimes, but it's all based on the attitude of the horse, the posture of the horse, and what I want that horse to do. So in that respect, I don't vary. So it stays the same. So I do exactly the same thing no matter what has gone on. So I told you why this horse came in. I just did put the saddle on. I haven't done any work at all with this horse yet this morning, but he's tied up. And I said, notice how I've got him tied up. I've got him tied up high. He's tied around a post, and then I've got him tied down there where he can't lip on it and untie himself. And look how peaceful he is. You see, he's not pulling on the lead rope. He's standing there quiet. He's got a leg cocked. He's just comfortable. So this is let's call it a byproduct of tying them a lot. When you go somewhere with your horse and you want to tie him to your trailer, you don't want the horse out there tearing your $40,000 trailer up because he's impatient. Heck no, you want him to stand there like this. Well, the only way they're going to stand there like that is if they get the opportunity to stand there like that. Then they will teach themselves how to do that. And anytime I can arrange it to where the horse is doing his own teaching, I think it comes out better, you see, because then it's not relying on me. And always part of my picture is what's going on internally with that horse. So I'm gonna untie this horse now, and I don't always use the flag, but I'm gonna use it here today because I want to show you how I use it to help a horse with his particular ear issues. This flag allows me to stay far enough away from the horse so I can stay safe.
So tell us about the flag. There seems to be a lot of misconceptions about what the flag, why you need a flag.
You
need a flag?
You don't need a flag. The flag can be very beneficial when you use it correctly because it allows me to take my hand from here, and I can move from here to here. You see, I covered 10, 12 feet there in one move, so it allows me to be quicker. And I can time that with my response to what I want so that it ends up coming out like I want it to. So in that respect, the flag can be very beneficial. If you use this thing all the time, your horse is going to become dependent on it, and then you'd better off to not use it at all to start with. So, you know, you've got to fit things in as they need to be fit in. There's no hard and fast rule. And I want that horse to move his hindquarter over here. This is one of the first exercises that I teach. And that horse right now is in my picture. He's looking at me out of the right eye, so I need him to move. I need him to move. Pick me up in the left eye. Now, see, when he moved, you come up, you can hear him kind of blowing. He's just telling me I'm a little uncomfortable now. So he went from being comfortable to uncomfortable because I moved his feet. Horses just do that.
You just took note of that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I might wait here a little bit and see if he won't relax. But he's tense as a, you know, he's tight right there. If you was on him right now, it wouldn't feel very good. That's okay. That's okay. We'll work through that.
So he just went from the relaxed to a little bit more tight in the body, just in a few steps.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss that in reading a horse, what normally would happen?
Well, if you're not reading the horse and you're fidgeting around here with your equipment and you miss that and you walk up in there, you're liable to wish you hadn't walked up in there, you see. But if you're paying attention, and that's what focused attention is, pay attention. Wake up here, pay attention. Watch the horse and let the horse tell you when it's okay to come up. Let the horse tell you when they're comfortable, when they're not comfortable. Use distance as your friend, and then, you know, act accordingly based on what you're seeing. And this is a developed skill. Nobody
Developed skill.
reading a horse. Nobody is born with the ability to read a horse accurately.
Why is that?
Because they're horses and we're humans. You know, we're just wired up differently. That's all. So let me get away from the fence here a little bit, and we'll just start in. You hear that blowing? Mm-hmm. You know, that's him just telling me I'm not comfortable. So I'm gonna just put him to work here. I'm gonna send him forward, and see, he got right up against the outside boundary. He got raising his tail up and saying, "Oh, you ever take your kid somewhere and they know they're going somewhere, and they get excited, and you're in a hurry, and what do they have to do? You got to stop at the gas station because they got to go to the bathroom." Well, he just got himself all tizzied up there, so he walked off like that. He let me saddle him just fine, and he was standing there just as relaxed as he could be. So let's just play out a scenario here. What if I'd have just put the bridle on and then got on him, and he stepped out? Then I'd be on this time bomb. Well, you got to do more to protect yourself. See where he's got his head right now? He's not comfortable. He's not pulling on the rope. He's not trying to get away, but inside he doesn't feel good.
So possibly a lot of times people are not reading internally, they're just looking more externally. Could that be a correct assessment possibly?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. You're just taking point blank what you're seeing and not thinking about more about what you want to see. See, what I'm seeing doesn't matter to me. It does matter, but it doesn't matter. But what I want is more important than what I'm seeing. So I'm going to direct his feet. I've asked him to move forward. He's not paying attention. He's not moving. When he did move, he got tight. He picked his back up. He just kind of braced around there and seemed tight on that lead rope. Now this horse is going around raking his body and everything on the outside boundary. So it doesn't feel very good while he's moving. To him, he said, I'm in resistance here. I can't find any relief.
He's on the rumble strip.
Yeah, he's about in the ditch. He's past the rumble strip. He's content to drive in the. Now he came off of it right there, but then he wanted to face up. You see, every time he stops, he thinks he can face up. Now that gets trained into him, and they use that as a tool to keep you from getting what you want done.
So get you to quit doing whatever it was that you were doing.
Yeah, basically he's hiding behind his shoulders. He just went over there and hid out. Now he's standing there. If I just stand here like this, I don't have to do anything. That's what he's thinking. Well, that ain't gonna work because we're gonna want to do more here. So we gotta send them forward right here. See, that's why that drive line is so important. I'm gonna go around here now.
Where is the drive line?
Right here. See, I'll show you where the drive line is in a minute. But something happened right here. We've got to talk about. That horse came off of the outside boundary. That horse stepped into freedom. That horse had about 10 steps here in the sweet spot. That was the first time since I untied this horse that he found the sweet spot. Okay, just another mental note. Now look at this right here. You see, as soon as he stepped off in the sweet spot.
So what does this sweet spot exactly look like? Can you have him in the sweet, or get him in the sweet spot and tell us what it looks like?
Well, it's going to unfold as we go along. I can't make that sweet spot be there, and that's what you're asking me to do right now. Make the sweet spot be there so we can see it.
But that's what most are naturally looking for.
Well, that's what I'm looking for too. But we've got to fit it in. We've got to let the horse fit it in. See. And when the horse fits it in, pretty soon the horse is going to choose to be in it. So while I'm working him here, I'm not going to stand here too long and talk to you with him faced up because he's hiding out behind his shoulders again. So I'm going to change direction, set up. He's fine right now. He's better on this side than he is on the other side. So I'm going to ask you all a question. Why would this horse be better on the right side than he is on the left side? The answer to that question is because he's had more people on the left side than he's had on the right side. The right side of this horse is more instinctive. In this particular situation, it's not every horse, but I'm just talking about this particular horse right now. When I'm on his right side, this is more like a horse that hadn't had much handling would be. See? But on this side, we've got a horse that's learned how to defend himself against handlers. So he's braced when I'm on this side. Yeah, most everybody works on this side, so we need to help him get a little more comfortable on this side. So let's just work him around here a little bit. Talk. Lip service don't gain anything, but actions do.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said lip service. See right there, he tried to run over me because I got on that side and he got real defensive. What I said was lip service doesn't gain anything. I can stand here and talk to you about what I'm doing all day, so I'm going to just go ahead and show you. And I'm looking for this horse to come into my picture on a more regular basis under some pretty high energy. That's what I'm doing with the flag now. I raised the energy bar up, letting him wear it. It's cool here this morning. He's up, a little higher, and that's plenty of times around one way. We better change direction, change his thought process. Let's see if we can get that hip moving around out there now. Let's bring his front end back through this way, get them shoulders moving away. Let's go forward here. Let's move that hip. Let's go forward here. Let's stop flat right here. Don't face up. Now let's go forward here. I'm letting this horse experience. Back up there a second, son. Let's go forward. I'm letting this horse experience that when I'm talking to him and telling him to move his feet or move his body in a certain way. Can you see the change that happened right there? From here all the way around to there, he was in the sweet spot. And when he was in that, I backed way off of my energy. He told me that I could back off. See, I'm on the side that he was uncomfortable in. Now he's comfortable in. So what was the change? The change was I moved his feet, and every time I got him to move his feet, when he stepped in my picture, he stepped in relief. Now he kind of avoided me a little bit by wanting to take his hip faster than his shoulders right now. So I'm going to just stay right there until he goes forward, quits pushing. He's off of the outside boundary. He's in the sweet spot with the front part of his body, but the back part of his body is up against the boundary. Okay, so let's step up and go forward. Now he's in it completely. So let's get him stopped right here. This pause is very beneficial. When he stepped, I didn't tell him to move, so he stepped out of my picture. So I'm gonna put him back to work. He moved, I didn't tell him to move. Now he's sticking his shoulder on me here, and he's just bracing right there. Now he got off of that. You see, he was bending and coming out through the bend toward me. So when I asked him to move his front end over, he was up against the inside boundary, just like right there. Come on, move your feet. He's looking outside. He's not here with me. Pushing on me, trying to chase. He's coming towards me here. He's got to move away. See, if I back up right there, I've just trained him to run over me. So he's got to step away like that. I'm going to get a little more distance here. Get up. He's learned how to shove this shoulder and this rib in and just push whoever's on this side out of the way.
To get you to back up.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring that energy up there a little bit. Notice that I've gotten taller as I'm working him here. Now he stepped away. Now I can ease up. I don't do things to just do things. I do things because of what I'm seeing at any given moment. You're seeing me there. Now there's a horse that is responding with respect. There's a horse that is responding in my picture, in the sweet spot. Comfortable as he can be. I think his head dropped down there about 4 or 5 inches now. He's comfortable as he can be. I'm going to let him stop right there. He should have stopped a step or two sooner. Now he stuck that shoulder out there. I'm going to raise the energy up here a minute, because he don't need to be checking out, leaving me. When I show him where that sweet spot is, he needs to choose to stay in it. He's in it now. He's in it now. I need him to be in it with his feet moving. He's in it. He left it. He left it. Started there. Can't leave him in a state of mind where he thinks he can just come to me and gain what he wants. I'm going to take the hip away, move the front end back through, just go forward here. Just take the hip away, just move the front end over. Let's take this lead rope. Look at there where the lead rope is. A horse that don't want you to touch his ears now has got a lead rope laying up there on him, and it went on through and everything worked out. So not only did I get to change eyes, get this horse to step into my picture in that way, but I'm getting to touch his ears with the lead rope. So the lead rope is an extension of my hand. It's helping me right now. I'm going to do this until his head comes down. You know how it just kind of looped around those ears and stayed right there, and he accepted it. Let's see if he'll let me touch him up here with this flag. I don't know about that. His head is up in a defensive posture. He's letting me touch it. I'm going to wait until he drops his head to get away from it. See, I didn't take the flag away. He dropped his head to take it away. So I didn't start there. I started communicating with him. I started by showing him that, look, if you step away and you stay in between my boundaries, life is really good for you. And if you listen to me and do what I'm telling you to do, you're going to find peace. Peace in the sweet spot. That looks pretty good. Now let's see if I can get up there with my hand. See him brace? He's pulling on the lead rope. I'm not pulling on him, he's pulling on me. He raised his head up against that lead rope. I'm going to wait here. I'm waiting for him to come down. I'm there. There. Very good. And when he dropped, you see, when he softened his defensiveness, I just let my hand go over his ears. See what he did with that foot? They know exactly where their feet are. So why am I doing that? Because I'm on this side where he's real defensive, and instead of listening to me, he went outside and he took that shoulder, and he even followed up with a foot to push on me, because that's what he's been essentially trained to do by allowing him to not look for the sweet spot, but allowing him to be defensive. If he gets defensive with me, I'll just put him to work, and he'll wish he wasn't defensive because it caused too much work. I'm going to just wait right here. I'm not trying to get him to put his head down, but he's feeling a little bit of pressure on his nose from the lead rope because he's braced. There, see that?
So do you just have steady pressure, or what are you doing up there with your hand?
This is the hand that's doing the work. This one is just going up here touching the ear. This hand is steady like a post.
So the left hand is steady like a post.
You see, and he can tuck down and get relief from it. Now, I'm going to just spend a little time here because we got to be able to move that ear forward. We got to be able to see what's going on. I'm watching his eye here, and while I rub that ear, and I want him to look over here at me a little bit and soften up. He's braced up against my hand there just a little bit with his nose. There. And with that little change right there in his world is a big change.
His eye changed. His eye actually moved towards you.
I want him to just relax with my hand up there. And I don't want any change like that. See, if he's changing into that defensive mode every time he feels me come up close to his ear, it'll be hard to get that bridle on. And here's where you have to be careful. Notice I'm kind of keeping my head out of this picture. You get in there too close with your head and they'll cold cock you. Not changing. See, he's content to lean on me. And I'm going to move his head over a little bit there.
So you're you're feeling him internally by your left hand.
I'm feeling him externally with my left hand, and I'm just feeling him brace up against it. Now that does tie to what he's feeling on the inside, because when he does that, he feels better on the inside. And I'm just showing him that over and over again here. That I'm not going to hurt him. And if he does what I want, now I'm a little more appealing to him now than I was just a minute ago. You see that? He's not so eager to look outside and kind of airhead off and brace up and you know, become less than attentive. Now all of a sudden, out of doing a few little things, he's maybe decided, well, this guy ain't so bad after all. I hear this all the time. This horse just doesn't like cowboy hats. This horse just doesn't like men. Those are just human excuses because of a horse telling you, I don't like poor handling. When the handling is fit so that the horse understands it, he don't care who's doing it. It don't matter to him.
He just wants to be understood.
Well, he just wants to live in the sweet spot. Right there, see? He got the same look on his face right now that he would have if he was standing out in the pasture and there wasn't anybody around. But I've got my hand up there in the spot where he is, let's call it historically, been put into a state of mind where he felt like he had to fight for his life because he was protecting himself from being hurt. So that worked out really nice. Let's put the bridle on now.
Please post them.
I'm going to go ahead and put a cavesson on him.
Can you explain what that is?
This is just a rope around his nose that if he does open his mouth when he's got the bridle on, it'll maybe remind him to keep his mouth shut. It doesn't hold his mouth shut. You can have them tied enough where they actually hold the mouth shut, and I don't like that at all. And the reason that I don't is because if a horse cannot open his mouth to lick, his jaw is going to be kind of, it's like having your mouth wired shut. Now, how would you like to go through the day with your mouth wired shut? I mean, you couldn't talk, you couldn't act normal, so it has to be uncomfortable. I got to feel like that horse is wired up that way as well. So, yes, they will learn how, if you're not careful, to just relax their lower jaw and not bring their nose. And that becomes an avoidance of what we want them to do. So that's why I like to use the cavesson. And let's just help him here. I'll put that, he's bothered here now. He's saying, well, something's getting ready to happen here. I'm going to just stay here. See where my left hand is? The left hand is doing what I need it to do. It's there stabilizing. It's there helping this horse So I got that over. Now I'm going to take it over his eye on the other side. Now his hair is kind of getting in the way here. There's that defensiveness, real defensive. I got the capstan on, but I'm just waiting here, moving his ear a little bit. Just gonna move it around there a little bit. See how I'm basically giving him a sort of a muscle massage now next to his head and kind of fitting the ear in. So I'm able to move that ear without him reacting to it too much. Get out there on the tip of that ear, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to just handle that ear. I think this has got to be similar to us being in a dentist chair maybe, and that if you're not sure that that dentist is going to be gentle with you, it's pretty hard to relax. But after he's been in there a while and he hadn't hurt you, well, then you can relax a little more. Do you ever get completely comfortable there? No, because he starts up that drill and you start hearing things and you think, oh no, here it's going to hurt. So this horse is just expecting me to hurt him. And I'm just going to do my best to show this horse that I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to make this process that you don't want to have any part of as comfortable as I can, and just kind of let him know I'm here helping him. Now then, I need to make sure that that headstall is let out before I...
Can you just recap for those that have just joined you?
We're working with a horse here that has a phobia about having his ears touched, and he's here to learn how to accept being bridled. And I've just put a capstan on him, so now I'm going to put the bridle on. The first thing I did was stick his nose through the headstall. Okay. Now then, I'm going to come up here by his ear with my right hand, and I'm going to just hold it there till he relaxes. He's trying to avoid me by going away here. Okay. What I'm wanting is for him to just relax and let me pick that bit up. Now I put my thumb right on top of his tongue and let him lick that bit. And now I'm going to put my hand here. See, I've got that headstall let out real long on purpose so that I can get it over this ear. I'm holding the bit up into his mouth. When they bow away right there, that's when you need to really be ready, because they're going to come back. They're going to come back pretty rapidly, and your head's right there in the way. Now you're getting his head up. You got the bit. See, he's not wanting me to get out there to the tip of that ear. There it came. Everything went fine. So now I'll put it over the pole. All right, we're there. Now I'll repeat the same process that I used getting the cavus. And look where my right hand is here. I'm holding that bit in his mouth with my right hand. I've got a hold of that cavus so I can have a little more control of how he's handling it. And I'm gonna just wait. See, with that hair in the way, it won't let me get easy access to that ear. I gotta get that hair out of the way. It went over. His attention left me and he went elsewhere. Now I can tighten the headstall up. You know, when his head's that high, he just in a braced up state of mind, very defensive state of mind. I'm gonna just with the bridle on. Now I'm using the bridle to help me. See, I've got a hold of it with my right hand. I'm waiting for him to come down. He needs to come down and find relief coming down with me touching his ear. I've still got a hold of this left ear, and I'm not squeezing on. I'm just there. I'm there so he can feel me. See, I've got my fingers around it. Dang, mane keeps getting in the way. I've actually got my thumb inside his ear here now, and it's just there. I'm not moving it. So that that's what when they have this kind of an issue, they're really bothered about the possibility that you might get your I'm waiting for him to relax. He's gonna make it. So, these kind of things sometimes take time to get to the bottom of it, or get to where it's not an issue. And just like a real claustrophobic person, with this particular horse, it might always be there, and it probably always will be in the back of his mind. So he's going to be reading you, and if he thinks he's going to get hurt, he's going to get real defensive real quick. If you're presenting yourself in a way that he's pretty comfortable with, and he knows he's not going to get hurt, there's a pretty good chance that this will all disappear sometime down the road. Is it all gone right now? Of course not. But we were able to get the bridle over his ears. We were able to accomplish getting it on without a big issue, and that was the main thing. Now, the other thing with this horse is he came in because he wouldn't stand still at the mounting block, so I'm going to go out here and work on that a minute. I'm going to make sure that the saddle is snugged up. Now I'm going to use the mounting block here as a tool to tell me whether or not he's ready to get on. If I crawl up here and he comes up here, gives me an opportunity to get on, see him walk off, so right there I'll make that a little uncomfortable. I bumped up, and when that hip does that, I quit bumping. I'm watching the hip there, watching him come up here, stepped out of my picture. If you're wondering the details about how to get this done, it's in the units on this. Okay. Alright, so she's standing up there. Now I'm going to just put a little weight in the stirrup there. It's not the getting on that's the issue, it's the horse thinking about staying put once we get on. So I'm going to just put a little weight up there. See, when those feet started moving, when I just started put a little energy up, the horse was telling me that it wasn't ready. So just push on that saddle horn and get that horse stable on his feet. And then it's too far away, it's too big a gap. Now then, we got something. Now I've got those reins snug enough that I can feel movement if it starts. I'm not going to try to hold the horse here. I want the horse to make this choice on his own. So if I'm holding him, I'm essentially protecting it from making a mistake. The mistake is that, thinking about moving. As soon as he felt weight in the saddle, he's thinking about moving. There. Make that easy. Reach for that. Now then, I'm not going to be in any hurry to leave. I didn't ask this horse to leave, she just left. So I'm going to just sit here until I get forward motion, because if this horse is backing away, just avoiding. So I didn't get her going with my hands, I get her going with my feet. My right leg is up there, moving the hip to the left. My left leg was moving the hip to the right. Now there's a whole different horse I'm sitting on right now than there was just a second ago. As soon as I put a little weight on that stirrup, that horse got tight, wanted to avoid me. So here we're going to feel the right leg. It's all this grunting and snorting around here is just a horse that is uncomfortable. Just trying to avoid there. Whenever I say there, that means the horse has stepped into my picture. And see, if I'd have got too involved over there, it would have gotten worse. And I'm just there. I'm waiting on this horse to find that spot of peace. Sometimes they won't let you get them back where you want them to be. In that case, I just will start riding back there, and I'll start directing that energy. He's run into my right foot. My right foot is on. I'm waiting for that hip to move there. Back up. So I'm trying to make it very comfortable for this horse to stay up against that mounting block. Tight. Avoid me going backwards. I'm just there. Just there. By just there, I mean I've applied a little bit of pressure with my legs. Steady, squeezing pressure. And I held it there, and the minute that I felt that horse think about stepping forward, that pressure left. So that horse felt an opening halfway across the arena where she could move forward, and things worked out. She went around there moving her hip in pressure. Now she's out of pressure. She's in pressure. My right foot out of pressure. Now she's going to side pass over the mounting block. It's just energy that she's got keyed up, bound up. Now, this is going on long enough here that I'm going to address it a different way. So we're going to get forward here. I'm using my right foot, and I'm kicking on that right side. I'm doing the same thing I was doing with that flag. When I act foolish, you're going to go to work. You want to act foolish, you're going to go to work. Come on, get up here. Taking that right bridle rein, right leg. Right bridle rein, right leg. I'm just kind of bumping up a little bit. Up a little bit. Why do I bump up? Because when a horse gets tight, their head comes up. So they want to be up. I'm going to hold them up until they decide to come down. It's not up to them to decide. And you can't successfully get a horse to soften by trying to hold their head down. If you got your hands down here by your knees and riding like this, all you're doing is loading up the shoulders and giving them something to push against. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to get active with my seat, and I'm going to get this horse coming up from behind. Get up there. See this horse's hind feet crossing as she's going. So the right hind's coming up towards her left front. What's the significance there is because I've taken the power away. Let's go left here a little bit. Come on. Energy's pretty high. My energy is. So this horse wanted to be all angst up, wanted to leave. That's all right. We'll leave. Let's just go around here, pick a place, and we'll come back this way. See her drop that shoulder and lean in there. So I pick that right brow rein up higher and kick her a little harder with my right foot. Get around there. Let's go down here. Look at my eyesight and what I'm doing with my upper body, and I'm just directing this energy until it becomes useful. Now I've eased way off. Now let's see what we get here when we come back. Now this might be a little more appealing place here now. Crap, she said to get out there, and I gotta do way more than I want to do out there. I don't know why I was so anxious to get out there. So instead of trying to hold her here and getting that energy up more and maybe creating something I couldn't hold here, I just took it out there and directed it. So anyway, so those are the two issues that this horse has been working with, and you know, you can see it's just a process. I didn't vary from knowing exactly what I want this horse to do and read the horse and according to whether or not she was in my picture. I let her be in the picture. Like right now she's in my picture, I'm letting him be here. And when he decided I can't stay here, the sky's falling, Chicken Little syndrome came over him, well then we put little Chicken Little to work out here. And all of a sudden, little Chicken Little found some bravery that he could come up here and stand by this mounting block and everything's all right. Okay, all right, thank you.